Okay, so welcome to this first fundamental. This is one of those doors that you'll hear me speak of that is going to make a drastic impact in a positive way, and it's going to really serve as the backbone. It's going to be one of three lessons that are the backbones of everything that we go through this journey of transformation. This is pivotal because it's simple. And in life, it's the simple things that make the biggest impact at a large scale. It is the simplicity that leads to the big transformation. A lot of people, however, they overstep the simple. They think that the more complex things are, the more they work. However, I would invite you to explore the opposite. If something is too complex, consider that maybe you don't know it yet, or the person teaching it doesn't know it yet. We want to keep it simple because it's when things get distilled to the simplicity when you actually get the full concentrate. It's the full essence of the teaching. So don't take the length of the video, which isn't that long, as a equivalent to how impactful this can be in your life. If you truly start to practice what we're going to go over today with diligence and rigor and intensity and intentionality on a moment-to-moment, minute-to-minute basis, you will have a full transformation that doesn't just last for a day, a week, or a month, but it'll be a lifetime of transformation. So my invitation is, as you step into this teaching right now, you really take it on for yourself. Now, these realms, these doors that I'm speaking of, there's a few that we go through life. And these doors, they create a new level of experience that creates a new level of awareness as to who we are. Remember the first time I walked through the doors, we were just in North Carolina doing some work for Feed 3. And if you don't know anything about that, I'll share more about it as we go through it, but we're helping revitalize communities, and we're helping doing so by private equity and also public funding, which is the government side. We're doing a presentation in particularly for the public side, and these are White House officials. These are people from HUD, from people from the interior. Oh, I forgot what the whole thing is actually called, but it's the Department of Interior. That's what it is, DOI. And you also have USDA. You know, these are people that are directly speaking to Trump. And I walk in through the door and I know that I'm going to be presenting something at this meeting. And that doorway, as I walked through, it represented a new realm for me because I've never been in that situation before, in a space to be presenting to officials that are part of the White House. That is totally new to me. Now, that is the essence of transformation. There was no reference point for me to look back on as I was walking through that door. I needed to bring a full level of intention into what I was doing to be able to be fully present without getting in my head, trying to prove a point, getting out of performance, not trying to sell anything, but just being fully, authentically me. And it's in this place of authenticity where you will see your highest level of productivity, your most connected level of communication, and at the end of the day, your deepest level of relationship with the person that you're with. And that is the most important part, the relationship part. Nothing can take away from your relational equity that you create with the people in your life. And it's not that you're going about your life trying to create this relational equity. Relational equity happens by the virtue of being connected to the person that you are with. And again, it comes from that authenticity and that honesty and that vulnerability, the you being you. So let's take a look at one of these fundamental doors. Now, these doors, again, will help you drastically. It'll support you in stepping into life from a completely new place of being. And as you'll see, I am by no means an artist in the sense that maybe some people see. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a look at this. If this loads, I literally just pulled it out right before I started this to test this out. Of course, it's not going to work. So let's take a look at this first door that I'm speaking to. Now, this is one of the most fundamental ones because this literally creates the foundation upon which we can live life and we can explore how we can transform literally any situation that we are going through. This one door will give you the space and the opportunity to take a situation that would normally drag you down, keep you back, knock you off your feet, into one that will actually help you propel yourself forward. This is one that is going to require rigor and intentionality. So let's kick it off. It begins with this. This is you. Okay? So this is us. Whoop. This is life. As we go through life, every situation in life will have one of two things. We'll have a positive to the outcome or a negative to the outcome. There is no situation in life where this is not the case. Regardless of how challenging it may be, we, at all points in time, have the opportunity to see life from this point of view. Now, this is where it gets confronting a little bit, because maybe, just maybe up until now, you've been more focused on the negative side. Maybe it's easier for you to see every single reason why something won't work. Maybe as your partner, your spouse, your team member is promising that they're going to do something with you or for you, instead of believing in their bigness, you are so caught up in the history of their past that you can't help but focus again on the past. And all of that is valid, especially if you have the history, the evidence to prove that they won't do it, or that if they do it, they won't follow through upon it, whatever it is. But is it possible that just like they can historically not do things again, is it possible that they can actually go ahead and follow through this time around? Is it possible that maybe because they have been trying consistently for a long period of time, maybe, just maybe, they're actually going to do it in the way in which they should and could and need to? Look, as we go through the day-to-day, every single possibility in life has a positive and a negative to it, and what we do with that is based on which we put more focus on, because they are both always existent. It's like you can't take a piece of paper and show me a one-sided piece of paper. Every single piece of paper has two sides to it. You can't show me a coin that only has one side. It has two sides to it. And as Myron Golden says, every pancake has an opposite side to it. And this, we see it in day-to-day. Every single night is followed by the sun. Everything that comes up must go down, and everything that is hot will eventually be cold. So there is this back and forth that we need to be very intentional about. Now, why this is key, because it doesn't just end here. And you can take a look, maybe in your life right now, what is a situation where you see both of these positives and negatives coming about? I'll tell you, for me, and I can give you real life examples right now, as we are working with this project up in North Carolina, particularly around revitalizing the community that we're in. It could easily not work out. There could be a lot of factors in which things don't work. As of the recording of this video, the government is shut down. So a lot of things could happen. So I could focus in on that. Now, let's just play the game. If I focus in on the negative of this not working out, let's explore what emotions I could actually feel. I could feel this sense of maybe anger, maybe the time, the energy, the effort that I'm putting into this work, maybe it's not going to lead anywhere. I could also I could feel a sense of, let's go with disappointment, because again, we're putting in so much time into this work that maybe it's not going to lead to what we needed to get to. I could step into a place of frustration where maybe we know that we can do what we need to do, and we know that the resources are there, but we're frustrated because they're not coming forth in time. We're frustrated because the government's closed. We're frustrated because there is huge potential with this, and right now there are bottlenecks. Look, all this is valid, and all this is real, and all of this is happening right now. Okay? Very real. However, I could also take a look at the other side of this. Let's take a look at what the other side of this could be. Because if every single situation in life has both a positive and a negative, let's explore what kind of impact what we focus on has in the emotions that we feel. So what emotion am I feeling if I focus on the positive? There's excitement. There's a literal community today that, when this goes through, is going to radically be transformed in a very positive way. I have a sense of joy in knowing that I'm making a massive impact in the world. I have the opportunity to, when I think about growth, it brings me a sense of fulfillment, because I know I'm expanding beyond who I know myself to be at this point in time. There's also a sense of patience that comes along with that, which also creates a sense of faith. And as I have that sense of faith, it also creates a sense of courage. Now look, momentum flows. Momentum flows. This is why you just saw that flow so easily. I didn't want to go too much into this one down here, because, again, what I've put my focus and energy into is going to eventually create a reality around it. So we have this now. We have this idea that I have both positive and a negative. And then if I focus on the positive, I have these emotions. If I focus on the negative, I have these emotions. Why is this important to also dive deeper into? Because every single emotion, when focused in on consistently for a long period of time, will create a feedback loop to the mind, to the brain, to ourselves. Let me actually take this one away so it's not as confusing. Now let's go this way. Everything that I put my focus and energy into will create along with it feelings. So if I am consistently experiencing this sense of excitement, think about the feeling that I'm going to go through throughout the day to day. If I am excited about waking up because I have a project that I'm working on, think about the way in which it's going to impact how I show up. If I wake up and I'm feeling angry, disappointed, and frustrated in everything that I do, guess how that will also play into the picture? Through what? The feelings that I experience. Because the feelings is what gives us the next important part to this. And feelings is those things that we may not necessarily be aware of over time if we're not consistent in paying attention to them. So again, we are looking at the areas where up until now, maybe you've been unaware of them. And as we bring awareness to the situation, we may experience a whole new level of awareness, which creates a new level of possibility. Because as we get clear with what am I focusing in on? Am I focusing in on this idea of, I'm going to go with blue, the positive? Why is this not working? This idea of the positive, or if I want to go with the negative, either one, they both exist. They're going to create a reality. And as I focus in on either one of these emotions, which create the feelings, I'm going to from there now experience. What am I going to experience? Let me actually write the word so it makes sense, because I'm not the best artist, as you can tell by now. You have an action that follows. Now, this is really, really, really important. I want to make it that big because as we have, this is step number one. Let me actually number these. This is, let's go with yellow for this. We have step one. We have step two. Again, either one exists. We have step three. And then from here we have step 4. So what this does now is, as you're focusing in on a particular feeling, this feeling will then do something really powerful that we need to get really present to, and it'll inform the actions that we take. And just look for yourself. And I'll give you from this example that we're working on, if I am consistently thinking about the excitement, the joy, the fulfillment, the patience, the faith, and the courage that I get about thinking the potential that this project has, imagine the kind of action that I am taking. Do you think that I'm going to be following through upon the things that I need to do? If I'm faithful in knowing in my heart and that God is delivering everything in accordance to his plans, will I consistently do the work regardless of what the external results look like? Now, what if I were to focus in on the opposite, on the anger, disappointment, frustration? What kind of actions would follow through from there? And this simple idea of getting present to what am I focusing in on? What are the emotions that I'm paying the most attention to, which are creating the feelings that I'm experiencing, which at the end of the day, this is also really important. Feelings will lead to what makes up your personality. If you are not really present to and you don't pay attention to what your feelings are, you may not be aware that you are building for yourself a personal reality from the personality that is being created from the feelings that you're focusing in on. So that's just that's a side bonus for you. As we take the actions on, you know what happens from actions. Any action has, let's go with writing again to make sure you understand. Every action has results. What the results are going to be largely dictated by, of course, the actions that you take, which again are given by the feelings that you experience. Let's work this backwards. Okay, so number 5. You see that you have these results. So what does this do? Right? Like, how is this practical? This is practical because if right now you are experiencing for yourself results that you don't like, well, very simple. Work it backwards. If you don't like the results that you have, you can take a look at what the actions are that you've been taking. And if you are unfamiliar with what the actions are, now you have an awareness that you can get present to. If you are aware of the actions, however, you still don't have the results that you want, even better, because now you get to really bring a new level of awareness to your feelings. Because how you do something is going to impact how the thing is done, which will in turn impact the result. And then from there, the feelings, now, if you're aware with the feelings, you understand what you're focusing in on because you're going to get really clear upon the emotion that you're experiencing. So you see, this is a really simple thing that if you really take this on, it's going to transform. And let's just recap it again one more time, because this is going to radically shift everything in your life if you take it on. Number 1, you need to be aware of what you focus in on. Focus either on the good or the bad. Let's make this bigger. This is going to show you if what you're doing on a day-to-day basis is actually helping you for the better or for the worse. And there's no better person than for you to now take responsibility for this. As you become aware of what you're focusing in on, whether the good or the bad, at this point in time, you're going to start to get aware of what your emotions are. As your emotions are becoming more clear, you then get to experience for yourself what your feelings are, which are also given an access to, where is this arrow? They're also given access to your personality. That's where I want to go to. They give you a sense of who you are being. Your personality is given by the feelings that you live in the most. This is why if you see that right now you are not in a place of you being who you know yourself to be, take a look at what is the emotional house you're living in. As you're aware of the feelings and the personality that is concurrent from there, now you have an idea as to what actions come, and from the actions, very simply, we know results follow. A very simple process that if you really follow through upon this with full intentionality and full intention, not only will you see that your life will be drastically transformed, but you will see that any situation that you go through on a day-to-day basis not only has the opportunity to make you a better human being, but it also gives you the chance to expand upon who you know yourself to be. It's a really simple idea that when you really take it on, you will see that you are no longer being driven by the circumstances outside of you. You are going to be much more responsible for the way in which you respond to things, because you as a human have the ability to focus either in on the negative or the positive. And as you just saw, it has a massive impact. Now, as we'll explore throughout the keys that we'll go through in the journey ahead through all of the live sessions and all the recordings, is the keys are habits. They're patterns of behavior that the more that we become aware of them, the more we start to realize, recognize, and learn whether we're looking at the positive or the negative. And when we know that, we can now start to shift and transform what those are. So that's that is door number 1. The door of recognizing that you have a choice between positive or negative. Which one will you focus in on? The next one that we're going to look into is the door of seeing how this stacks into the journey of transformation. So you want to check that out next.